Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm White Mike Castle.
And I'm Boston Shane.
Welcome to episode 87, SuperBrawl III.
Witness history in the making.
At the biggest event of the year.
It's big.
It's pretty big.
Where the
So
hell
this-
did I
are
come
they-
up with Boston Shane? I just had to comment on that.
You should have done it in a Boston accent.
Yeah, I was thinking like
Do
Hollywood
it now,
Blonde,
we'll cut it in
and then I
right.
was going to say Shane the Boston Brunette, and yeah, Boston Shane came out.
It's part of the fun.
It's been a long day.
So are they trying to replace Starrcade with SuperBrawl, calling this the biggest event?
Wouldn't you want to replace Starrcade with anything?
I mean, it doesn't have. It's got the name,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have the greatest track record as of.
I think over time they do kind of start moving like everything more towards SuperBrawl as the biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
Because
You would know
it's
better.
right around the Super Bowl time that they usually show this. Plus, it's
Right before Mania.
right before Mania as well. So they're,
Competing.
basically.
They're going to try and wear out that Mania crowd before Mania even happens so that they can steal the ratings. Or something.
It happens eventually.
Eventually. But this was the third annual Super Brawl produced by the WCW. It would take place on February 21st, 1993 at the Asheville Civic Center in Asheville, North Carolina, with an attendance of 6,500 people.
Ooh, not so super.
I mean, they're still hitting their cap. Like that's their
That's kind of their number.
That's their number. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah, it's more average than super.
But I feel like they're booking the right buildings for it, right? Like
Oh,
this looked like a good.
Average Brawl.
Aw.
3. The third anniversary of Average Brawl, 1993.
There we go. But we're in North Carolina for the first time
Ooh,
since Shane has joined us.
oh my God. Do you know how difficult it was to try and find something that's not from Georgia? It was actually pretty easy. Yeah. So,
Boiled peanuts? You got a big old crock pot full of boiled peanuts for us?
no, that's Georgia and Louisiana.
I've only ever had them in North Carolina. So, or maybe it was South Carolina. Same thing.
I don't know. Don't say it's the same thing.
Lose half our viewers,
Exactly.
our listeners.
We're just now starting to reel in these North Carolinians. Is that right?
Sure.
These Hardy boys.
Tar Heels?
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Gamecocks. Those are from South Carolina.
Okay. I was like, I just know Tar Heels because of Michael Jordan. I don't really follow a whole lot of college sports.
Like my cousin lives
Sports
in
in
North
general.
Carolina, I think. Or maybe she lives in South. I don't know. My nephew lived there for a while. I
Yeah.
know that much, but I've never actually been. But
Beautiful part of the country.
that's what I've heard. I've seen lots of pictures. It looks great.
It's Flair County, right?
Yes. I mean, we're in
He gets
Asheville.
both
Claire's
Carolinas.
daughter's name is Ashley, a.k.a. Charlotte. I mean, this is basically her town right here. One of her towns, I guess. There's a Charlotte, too. We are in Asheville. I almost said Nashville. In North Carolina. And haven't had any alcohol yet the last couple shows and today. So it seemed like the great time to bust out the booze.
This is very, it's like
Pretty?
a dark magenta.
Yes. I don't know what color
It's a
that
color.
would be.
It's definitely a color.
Uh,
No, chartreuse is green.
I decided to go with the signature cocktail of North Carolina, the Cherry Bounce. I believe is kind of like it can be done as like a mash liquor type deal where they put a bunch of cherries and booze in a jar and just let it sit for days and kind of do its
Ghetto
own little
moonshine.
thing. Yeah.
Hillbilly, or I guess moonshine is hillbilly shit.
Watch
So
your
not
wording
hillbilly.
there.
It's
Have you
fine.
watched
I'm
Ozark?
from Oklahoma. I can say hillbilly.
Have you watched Ozark? You
haven't.
need to know who to call a redneck and a hillbilly or
I'll get there one day, Jason
consequences,
Bateman.
man. You'll
I didn't know it was
You'll
the
never
difference.
think of those two words the
Quite the
same
same.
again. But yeah, that's Ozarks. That's not North Carolina. So yeah, we have the cherry bounce. We did the simple cocktail version of it, which is cherry vodka with some cranberry juice and a little bit of lime juice. Shake it, pour it over ice. I have no garnish this time around.
What was the garnish supposed to be?
I was gonna try and get some like black cherries or some kind of cherries, and I wanted anything but maraschino cherries, and that's all they had. So
Yeah, you don't want that.
no, we just decided to go without. But yeah, it's I don't know, it's like liquid candy
It's
almost.
light and delicious. Matt drank the whole thing, which is
Clean.
Clink through the plexi.
which is Matt's not a boozer,
Hey.
so he threw it right back. Must have been delicious.
Hey, Matt's trying all kinds of things with this food and beverage trip around the world.
That's right.
Never had Red Bull. Never had Jaeger. I don't know.
Tried
what
a little
else.
bit of everything.
Yeah.
But while they're enjoying those tasty treats, a movie would come out right around the same time as this show. Groundhog Day
Oh my god.
would be released a few weeks prior.
The Chris Elliott vehicle.
Yes.
He plays the cameraman. He's not the lead. Just in my heart.
Oh, Groundhog Day. I saw it in the theater the weekend it was released. Yeah, it's still one of my favorites. I mean, you can't. I guess you could not like it, but if you don't like it, you probably aren't going to be in my circle.
Yeah, I mean, I like this movie a lot. It holds up well. I watched it a handful of years ago. Again, super enjoyable. I do remember when it came out because my best friend's mom, when I was a little kid, she saw it. And I remember her complaining about how it sucked. But
I think
she was wrong, of course.
The people that don't like Groundhog Day is because they don't like movies that show the same thing just over and over again.
It's
Because that's my wife's issue.
It's not quite the same thing over and over again.
It's not. I agree.
Why it's interesting.
I completely agree.
I mean,
I love Groundhog Day.
It's a little
I
something
like
different
movies
each
that do
time.
that. Even the Tom Cruise action movie, like what is it? Live, Die, Repeat, or whatever.
Yeah.
World of Tomorrow. What's it called?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. I like that movie too. And it's like the dumb action version of that, and that's super fun. Yeah,
never seen
I'm
that one.
all down for the repeating stuff. I've wanted to watch those goofy Happy Death Day movies because I hear they're a lot of fun and they're very it's kind of the same idea, and I like that idea because it can be really, really fun.
Now there's a new one that's coming out with Ryan Reynolds.
A remake of this?
Well, it's very similar to this here, where he's reliving the same day over and over, dies, and starts over again.
I mean, it's a very tried and true trope of filmmaking that's done even in TV shows as a storytelling.
Yeah, it feels like it's easier to do in a TV show because you got like 20 to 40 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But in a movie, like I feel like it's probably pretty hard to pull off, and that's why there's not a lot of them.
Community where they have their little party and
great episode.
The dice.
Probably the most memorable episode that's not a paintball episode of Community.
Oh, I love that.
Very true.
Yep.
Groundhog's Day, we all agree, is a great film.
Oh,
Yes.
it's awesome.
It's probably my favorite Bill Murray film.
Yeah,
it's
and I've
one
always
of the-
Even more than Ghostbusters.
I like Ghostbusters, but I'm not the diehard Ghostbusters fan that a lot of people are. I'm like, it's good, but it doesn't really like scratch that itch that it does for so many people, where it's like held in this like high esteem.
Yeah.
Like I think that it is good, but it didn't wiggle its way into my heart like it did other people's hearts. Also, I always had a crush on Andie MacDowell. She's in this movie.
She's a cutie, definitely.
Yeah, with her big old head.
I hated her for so long.
I don't think she's a good actress. I just think
she's
that
a
she's
horrible
cute.
actress.
She's pretty bad in a lot of stuff. She's got like
She
one line.
improved over the years, but she was very.
Sex Lies and Videotape, Groundhog Day, and Michael? Are there any other movies that she was in?
Multiplicity, Green Card.
I never saw Multiplicity. I've always heard bad things about it, but I think I could have fun with it.
Hey,
I think you'd have fun with it.
I think you'd like it. It's just quirky enough.
It's Keaton, right?
Yeah.
Love Keaton.
So something that happened right around the same time as this show coming out was Groundhog Day would be released a few weeks prior.
Good movie.
Love that movie. I saw it in the theater the weekend it was released.
All right, moving on.
They say we're young and we don't know. We won't find out
The Chris
until
Elliott
we grow.
All right, moving on to some wrestling. So we open up on a highlight showing Vader whipping Sting across the back with a belt, while Harley and Barry Windham hold him.
Bitches.
Narration then hits as the video continues showing Sting being hung by the belt.
Bitches.
We then go to a video where Sting's in a helicopter.
I thought those were only reserved for the Nature War.
Not
in 93.
I'm okay with Sting in a helicopter, but I'd prefer him to be in, like, on a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. It's a chopper either way.
It's SuperBrawl, damn it. Give me Biker Sting.
Rim shot. And then we get the logo for the show. Eric Bischoff and Missy Hyatt then welcome us, and they tell us that Ron Simmons is hurt, so Maxx Payne will challenge for the United States belt instead.
Oh, Maxx Payne.
Fucking Maxx Payne.
And I was all like, I had no clue who Maxx Payne was when I started the show.
Yeah. I don't remember
know
Maxx
too much
Payne.
now.
I had to research him, and then I remembered who he was as another character that I forgot existed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are we gonna tell me the character now, or we'll wait till we get to him?
I mean, I'm assuming if I
probably
tell
don't
you
know.
now or I tell you then, you're
still
going to
won't-
forget either way.
I didn't recognize the name of the other character either.
What's the other
so
character? Okay, let's hear it.
Man, Mountain, Rock.
That was my thought
Man,
process.
Mountain, Rock.
Yeah,
That
in
poor guy.
WWF in the mid-90s when they had just some of the greatest
Strangest.
characters ever. Yeah, he basically dressed like the... Did you ever see Dude Love wrestle? You know,
Yeah.
Foley in his little hippie gear.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Like the
basically that
fringes and
same
stuff.
gear before Foley got it. And him just kind of holding a guitar.
It's not what I
He
expected.
wasn't really-
I expected him to be like a burly, like lumberjack type with Man Mountain Rock,
Me too.
or maybe like a raccoon skin like cap, like some Jeremiah Johnson vibes.
Maybe some Big Josh.
Yeah, Big Josh vibes for sure.
Missy then tells us she's going to pull off the coup of the evening, and she's going to get an interview, but she doesn't tell us who.
Bitches.
Surprise, surprise. Bischoff then brings out Johnny B. Bad.
Oh, Johnny. He's got new music, too.
And he's so outrageous, it's contagious. And then starts,
I like Johnny.
I mean, I like
starts
Johnny.
talking about some of the matches.
I like Johnny, but I never realized originally while watching Johnny just how much of a Dusty Rhodes spinoff he is as far as personality and how he tries to talk.
He's a big, beautiful Dusty.
Oh yeah, he's so pretty.
We then go to Tony Schiavone and Jesse Ventura at ringside, as they will be our announcers for the evening.
It's their 1 year anniversary.
Oh, for Jesse's 1 year.
anniversary.
Well,
This is Tony's first time on the ones and twos with Jesse, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, at least since
Somebody's missing.
SummerSlam 88.
Oh, were they on that
I'm
show?
saving my answer in case that's a trivia question.
I don't think he's going to give it away this early.
I think that's right. It's not a trivia question,
But,
as far as I know.
yeah, so where's JR's gone? I wonder where he could be.
So since
Greener
Starrcade,
pastures.
Eric Bischoff has taken over as vice president of the company, and Eric and Jim Ross didn't really get along too well.
Imagine that.
Because, Jim Ross was actually pretty high up in the company as well, and someone that was below him kind of jumped him
Yeah.
in position.
Also somebody that's didn't grow up around wrestling.
Yes.
That's
Somebody who
probably a
is not
problem.
from the South.
And at this point, Eric had just... Jim Ross is actually still under contract to WCW as of this point. He was just leaving him at home, letting him ride out his contract.
It was that bad. It was the blood was that
Yeah, it was...
that bad.
JR had asked for his release, so obviously we will see him very soon in another role.
You don't leave that guy on the side of the road.
Nope. You don't do it in 1993. You don't do it in 2019.
Well, some people might think that in 2019 he could stay home, but that's, personal opinions. Not necessarily mine, but...
So then Tony and Jesse, they preview some of the matches of the evening as well. And we go to Gary Michael Capetta in the ring, and he asks everyone to stand for Maxx Payne's rendition of the national anthem. And he
Well, I
just
was like, huh?
he like wells, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's
It's a guitar version.
Yeah, he just plays it on the guitar, but it's like so like rudimentary. It's like not flashy at all. Like I could probably learn it in a day. I was like, this is not so hot. Even though like he's not even like looking cool while he's doing it. It just looks like he learned it a couple days ago. He's just like a little purple guitar on his fat belly, and he's just like, you know, one string in it, no flares. It's not bad.
Right, otherwise I'm not gonna get a bonus.
It's not bad, but
like this is the first time I had seen Max Payne, like I said,
it's
a while
not
ago,
good.
and I was just like, so he's a rocker?
Yeah,
I was like, sure.
He's our I already forgot his name. Van Hammer.
The new Van Hammer.
Yeah, Fat Van Hammer.
Yeah. So then we go to our first match: Flyin, Brian Pillman, and Stunning Steve Austin
from Hollywood, California,
versus Erik Watts and Marcus Alexander Bagwell. Now, Steve and Brian would become known as the Hollywood Blondes, but they haven't started using that name as of yet.
Yes.
They're just say that they're from those places, and they're definitely not.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
I did love the lights, camera, Austin sign. So
from the crowd.
The wheels are already in motion.
Yeah. Austin, like, it's so funny to even attempt to say he's from California. It's like, just let the man speak one sentence. Mm-hmm. I don't believe Pillman has any kind of draw, really.
No, it's like saying Pillman's from Australia.
Yeah.
Bagwell and Austin are back and forth to start us off until a stunning Steve cheap shot. But Marcus comes back by floating over a suplex attempt and knocking Austin to the floor. Watts comes in and the crowd goes crazy with boos.
I know. It didn't take long. You guys were serious about this.
I'm telling you. It's great.
Because that's not a you suck.
No, it's go home heat.
Go home.
Yeah.
Go away.
Because when old Bagwell comes in, he gets wonderful cheer. Probably a little bit because of
Erik Watts is tagging out.
But also because like Bagwell looks awesome, and everything he does is so like has like snap and is like crisp and
he's
like big and beefy. You know, he has a reason to be in the ring.
Watts and Bagwell hit a double back body drop on Stunning Steve and then a double clothesline on Pillman. Erik with a Japanese arm drag, terrible, a drop kick,
horrible,
and another arm drag.
Failed.
Come on, man.
No. They boo each move that he does, and it's not just because I hate him, it's because he is that hateable.
You're a man of the people.
I'm telling you. I didn't know. I mean, I've never been to North Carolina, but gotta love him. I just love him.
I was giving him a second, and then here, like, I started watching, I was like, oh my god. The crowd found out real quick how they feel about this guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's been blasted on television, just getting put over by making jobbers stare at the lights, is my assumption.
I love my note here. Erik gets boos after shitty drop kick and an arm drag on Pillman that was so bad it silences Tony completely. Because they even made a comment, Jesse did, about Tony not being able or not having words or something like that. And yeah, so bad he silenced the announce team.
Bagwell slammed into a turnbuckle and then ducks multiple Austin clotheslines. And Marcus comes off the ropes with a crossbody, followed by a dropkick. More boos for Watts as he comes in. Applies an ab stretch to Stunning Steve. Erik and Bagwell then tag, and Marcus continues the ab stretch, only for Austin to hip toss out and drop an elbow. Flyin Brian in with a second rope double axe handle, but Bagwell retaliates with a military press slam and mounted punches in the corner.
And we've got wrestling.
Only for Pillman to escape with an atomic drop attempt that's blocked. So Marcus goes for a clothesline that Brian ducks and thinking he has escaped danger, only for Bagwell to hit the clothesline on the next try.
And Jesse asks, why are they booing? And Tony says, are you sure it's boo and not woo? He's helping. He's trying to help.
I heard Jesse ask this, and I literally said out loud, because he sucks.
Yeah.
Austin with a body slam, elbow drop, goes for a running splash, but Erik gets his knees up.
Very early. A little too early, I'd say.
Turns Stunning Steve over into a Boston Crab.
Erik can't crab.
Until Pillman jumps in the ring to break it up, drawing cheers. Flyin' Brian takes control when Watts catches a kick and turns it into the STF, but Pillman immediately makes it to the ropes. Brian starts selling a knee injury, but it's all a ruse for the cheap shot. Tosses Erik out to the floor, and Pillman follows out with a double axe handle, only for Watts to move, sending Brian flying into the guardrail. Once back in the ring, Pillman yanks Erik to the corner, where he and Austin with the double back elbows to send Watts over the ropes to the floor.
Another great Jesse comment. Who's the sucker? Erik Watts.
Austin with a body slam on the floor, then rolls Erik back into the ring, goes for the sunset flip, but Watts stays up and punches down, only for Flyin' Brian to jump in to nailing from behind to keep control of the match. More double teams by the Blondes, working over Erik until he hits a sunset flip for a 2 count. Pillman with a faceplant, body slam by Stunning Steve. They attempt the rocket launcher, only for Watts to get his knees up again. Erik's crawling to his corner for the no! Austin hits a back suplex for a near fall. Watts is then Irish whipped into the corner, with Steve charging in, and the 2 men bump heads. Austin comes back with a body guillotine, but Erik is moved, allowing him to make the hot tag.
I mean, at least Bagwell's in.
Oh yeah, I mean Bagwell's in. The audience was cheering.
It's the bag tag, guys.
I'm telling you, there was a Austin chopping Watts moment that, I mean, I wrote down on here too. Austin's chop of Watts is going in my spank bank because it was just perfect.
There's a nasty kick that Austin gives Erik in here somewhere too, where it's just like, was he shooting on him? I'm sure he wasn't.
I mean, it seemed like after a while
he's a big boy. You can take it.
I mean, him and Pillman both. I mean, they're the heels that were finally being cheered, and yeah, they played it up to the audience.
They probably don't love that they're in a match with this guy and nobody's going to get over because of it.
Bagwell goes punch crazy on everybody, power slam on Pillman, makes the cover, but Steve breaks it up. Pier 6 brawl breaks out, and the ref is getting Austin and Watts out of the ring, while Marcus floats over a suplex, hitting a fisherman suplex of his own.
A crispy one.
Stunning Steve then comes off the top rope with a double axe handle to break it up, allowing Pillman to make the cover for the pin and the win.
This was incredibly long.
It was, but I'm telling you, I love this match. Man, this is already a shining star for the night.
Come on.
Because I got to watch Steve Austin and Brian Pillman just beat the hell out of Erik Watts for 10 minutes.
But it should have been fun, and it wasn't even fun.
It was fun for the audience to watch. It was fun for me to watch.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, had you had to suffer through 1992, in 1992 and into 1993 with Erik Watts,
yeah,
20-something years later, you'd be backflipping over this match too.
All right.
I love this match. We have Austin cheers. Man, I love this audience. North Carolina people are my peeps. Yeah, and then Austin Chopper Watts is.
I have a different take, but that's what we're here for. It's too long, and it's like, well, there's 3 guys in here that can put on an exciting match, and instead I got like 15 minutes. Like, this is not how you start a show, and it's a bummer, and it's not those guys' fault, but at least they completely exposed the man on television.
They made the most of it, and they had fun.
Pillman Austin song is pretty rocking. We're starting to get like more consistent and new entrance themes, so I notice them.
We then go to a video where Sting and Vader, and then some snow-covered mountains.
Yeah, it's like looks like some James Bond shit.
Very much so.
And that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll see more later.
I was very intrigued, but it seems like it was like 3 seconds. So I was like just trying to figure out what it was. This White Castle business.
I literally was doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I still don't know, but
Bischoff.
I have a feeling you have an answer for me later.
Bischoff is still with Johnny B. Bad on the stage. And the rumors going around are true. Ric Flair is here tonight.
Woo!
We then go to Missy in the back, and a limo pulls up right in front of her. But security stops her, and a lady cop frisks her, which I'm sure she's used to. So
I felt it was the lady cop.
Okay.
Oh, no, maybe it was the ladies that exited. I was like, 'cause I saw one of them and I was like, it kind of looks like Ivory. Y'all remember Ivory?
It might have been.
I know, I'm just like,
Could be.
I had that thought. I thought maybe
The cop
maybe
was
you would
not.
know.
No.
The cop wasn't, no. It was I was just looking in my notes and I was like, oh no, the lady that exits the thing. I was like, is that motherfucking Ivory?
It's very possible because, I mean, her time on Glow was over a couple years or so before this, so...
Missy is pulled away from the limo, and Flair exits and walks into the building with a very large entourage.
Yeah, you would assume that like they wouldn't. If Flair saw Missy, he'd be like, just come on. You'd assume he'd just put his arm around her and add her to the harem.
Well, you'd also figure if Flair shows up on TV, the announce team would say something, and instead they sat there in total silence and said absolutely nothing. Like, not one word was said.
Maybe they're on a pee break. I mean, this was probably shot beforehand too, potentially. I don't know.
Who knows?
I figured that like the Ric Flair, this seems more like a television entrance, like after somebody comes back from being like hurt or whatever, as opposed to like Ric Flair's back in the WCW. Yeah. Like it should be later in the show and more hush hush, and then he like comes out to like fireworks or like beats somebody up that has like the big title later on. It seemed like it was like, yeah, this is cool, but it doesn't feel as big as it should, or as I wanted it to be, or how I would have imagined it to be.
We might talk about that later.
Okay, cool. I love not knowing anything.
We then go back to ringside, and there are "We Want Flair" chants. So at least they probably showed it somehow in the arena.
You show me somebody who doesn't want Flair, and I'll show them the door.
So we head off to our second match. Too Cold Scorpio in singles action.
Ooh-wee.
Or Too Cold Scorpio versus Chris Benoit.
Benoit makes his first appearance on the podcast.
Chris Benoit is a Wrestling Observer newsletter Hall of Famer.
The only one he's gonna get.
So as Scorpio's coming out, there's a sign in the crowd that says he dances, he wrestles, he flips. He's Too Cold Scorpio.
I know. I was like, is that his brother? Is that a plant?
He's got a fan club, man.
I know, it's great. I mean, he should.
I'm a fan.
Definitely. That first match, he showed up. He botched up a little bit. The second one, he was a lot crisper, and now he's about to go into the ring with a technician. So I was very pumped when I saw this was the second match, because this is the kind of thing I would expect to be like a first match on a WCW show.
Yeah.
But I guess they had to wiggle Eric Watts' big ass in here somehow.
They had to pop the crowd with old Watts getting his ass beat.
Yeah,
so.
pop the crowd with booze, with go home heat.
Hey, made him happy. Made me happy.
So Benoit starts us off with a cheap shot to gain control, hits a snap suplex, Irish whips Scorpio, who leaps up and off with a crossbody for a 2 count. Drop kick and a spinning heel kick by Too Cold sends Chris out to the floor to regroup. Back in the ring, the two men transition in and out of wrist locks with cartwheels before Scorpio hits a back body drop, keeping the pressure on the arm. Too Cold with an Indian deathlock on the arm, dropping down multiple times, but Benoit reverses into a hammerlock, only for Scorpio to flip over, goes for an O'Connor roll, which Chris holds onto the ropes. So Too Cold flips backwards before hitting a Japanese arm drag, sending Benoit to the floor again.
Shit.
Damn.
Jesse lets us know that Chris is, came out of Stu Hart's Chamber of Horrors.
Oh, yeah.
Which instead of calling it a dungeon, you call it the Chamber of
Down
Horrors.
the basement.
But he lets us know, like, yeah, this guy can grapple.
This guy probably knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think this was the point when I texted both of you and was just like,
Short list.
I haven't even gotten 5 minutes into this match and I'm just like, holy crap.
I mean, yeah, Benoit looks absolutely evil, and Scorpio couldn't be a more likable babyface. And then they both go in there and are like putting on like top level like action wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it. Like, it's quick, it's
no,
fast.
that's
It's
either-
not. They're not like
They haven't done anything in this match, really, but they've done so much.
Yeah. And it's not like they're not feeling each other out. They're feeling each other out by going 100 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I was worried that we were going to fall into I'm going to put on a headlock, and we're going to sit here for a few minutes just to...
Not with Too Cold, he dances.
I don't know, he dances and he flips. And
he flips.
He wrestles.
Uh-huh.
But
his dance is
he doesn't write the show,
was
so
great.
I was worried that we were going to get stuck in some... Wait, no.
That was Erik
Bill Watts is gone. Yeah,
Erik Watts did that for
Bill
us.
doesn't like the fast moves and high flying. Yeah. Erik's all about fast and loose.
Once in the ring, the two men lock up into a test of strength, with both guys bridging onto the mat to avoid being pinned.
The trade bridge.
Yes.
Come on. That's all I got. Come on.
They then trade monkey flips, still in the test of strength, before a drop kick and an arm drag by Scorpio. Chris is tossed to the ropes, where he slides under Too Cold, a double leg takedown, and attempts to turn it over into a Boston Crab. But Scorpio's legs are too strong, so it sends Benoit flipping, followed by Too Cold attempting a drop kick, which Chris avoids and goes for an elbow drop, which Scorpio avoids and delivers a super kick and an arm drag takedown. Benoit slams Too Cold's head into the turnbuckle.
It was nasty. It was a nasty shot. This is kind of like Steamboat versus Steamboat. And you're like, oh, the only person that ever could have had a match it's like they've gotten to the point where guys can work like Steamboat with even more athleticism, but not everybody is that good. I'm not putting these guys exactly on Steamboat level, but it's like, oh, we haven't really had two people in the ring that can do that very often.
Yeah,
you got your Pillman and Liger and whatnot, but here this seems like it's like up a little bit.
And I love that Jesse threw out this when Tony was talking about them being athletes. Jesse cuts him off. Call them wrestlers. The wrestlers. Call them wrestlers.
Yeah. Very
Thank you.
Product.
Benoit sends Scorpio to the ropes, attempting another monkey flip, only for Too Cold to cartwheel away and attempt a spinning heel kick, but Chris ducks and delivers multiple clotheslines. A backbreaker and a modified bow and arrow by Benoit until Scorpio hits a knee to escape. Snapmare, rubber band slam that leaves Too Cold dangling on the ropes, so Chris then knocks him out to the floor. Once Scorpio's back on the apron, Benoit attempts to slam his head into the turnbuckle again, but it's blocked and reversed, and Too Cold goes for the missile dropkick. But Chris sidesteps it and goes for a cover for a 2 count. Scorpio begins to fire up, only to catch him with a spine buster and turn him over into an elevated Boston Crab.
Dear Erik Watts, please view this match so you can see how to do a Boston Crab. Thank you.
We then get a 15-minute time call in this 20-minute match.
How the fuck did 15 minutes fly by that fast? That's what I was thinking when they had said it too. Did it actually, or...
Probably not, but...
I just thought I was lost in the match.
But you are lost in the match as well.
Don't worry.
That's why I kept, when they said it, I was like, holy shit, it's been 15 minutes, wow.
Chris sets Too Cold up on the top rope, hitting a back suplex, only for Benoit to hurt himself in the process. 4 minutes remain. Chris, with a Russian leg sweep for the near fall, goes for a back suplex, only for Scorpio to flip out in midair and land on top for a 2 count. Too Cold with the Irish whip, but telegraphs the back body drop, so Benoit hits a power bomb for the near fall, and 3 minutes remain. Chris tries for another power bomb, but Scorpio reverses it into a sunset flip, only for them to land in the ropes. Too Cold stays on the attack with knees and an enziguri, but then misses multiple spinning heel kicks, but follows it up with a clothesline. And 2 minutes remain. Scorpio Irish whips Benoit to the corner, following in with a 360 corner splash, and heads up top for the corkscrew moonsault for a near fall. Too Cold goes for the victory roll with 45 seconds, but Chris just slams him down face first into the mat. A body slam and a second rope leg drop by Benoit for a 2 count. 15 seconds as Scorpio cradles up Chris for a near fall. And as the announcer starts counting down from 10, Benoit goes for a dragon suplex, only for Too Cold to slip out and roll up Chris for the pin and the win with 1 second remaining on the clock.
This is how you get guys over. I mean, they were going to get themselves over either way, but like booking it this way,
Yeah.
And, like, they both get pretty equal offense on. One is doing heel shit, using those thumbs. He's also got a nasty face, a missing tooth and everything. That hair slicked back. He looks fucking mean. My God. I was like, oh, this is going to... I was like, it's a draw. And it wasn't. And I was so excited that it wasn't because I was like, the draw is still exciting, but the fact that it wasn't, and they nailed it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how you do writing every second of that time up until the very last second.
I can't imagine how difficult it is, but, you know, when you got two guys that are this athletic, and I don't know where Scorpio trained, really, or where he'd worked before this, but it wasn't...
Not real sure.
It wasn't in Memphis, I can tell you that.
No. We then go to the stage where Eric Bischoff's there, and he reminds us to call the hotline, where Gordon Solie, Dustin Rhodes, and Michael P.S. Hayes are taking calls. And then Max Payne joins him on the stage. And he's, will you give me an opportunity to talk? As Eric just keeps yammering away. And he says, I have an epitaph for Dustin. And he starts playing taps on his guitar. Did he learn that one a couple days before, too?
It was fucking lame, though.
Yeah.
Like, the taps thing was like any other song. This one's just not doing it. It's like lights out, bedtime. Isn't that what taps is? Or, no, that's the
military
like,
song for people when they pass away.
Yeah, funeral, whatever. It's just not a very good song, I guess. Get the meaning. Taps. You do better than that.
Max Payne is getting a lot of airtime for being a brand new somebody that I haven't seen.
He's got a purple guitar. It's cool. I was trying to read what was on his guitar because it looked like a bunch of names were scrawled on it. I like paused to look and I was like, it just looked like he had all his friends sign it because it didn't. It's not like it said like Alice Cooper or like Ozzy Osbourne or like Randy Rhodes or Van Halen or anything cool on it. It was just like it looked like somebody took like a white paint pen and scribbled on his purple ESP or Jackson metal guitar.
So we head off to our third match. Wild Bill Irwin versus the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith.
Man, this guy gets
From
around.
the lost episode.
From the lost episode.
Well, I'm pretty sure that I was like, well, I hope he doesn't do only a power slam this time. But it was Wild Bill Irwin, so I was like, well, maybe it'll just be a power slam. I wasn't sure what I'm going to get.
So the last time we saw Irwin was at Clash 12, all the way back in episode 48.
I don't remember him.
Yeah, he wasn't around very long.
Yeah.
Like, I even wrote on here, who the fuck is Wild Bill? Because they're throwing him in there against Bulldog, so I was expecting to be somebody that I would remember. But
I mean, he's an older guy that they're going to give him a payday.
Payday.
I've got some interesting comments about him. I'm excited to
unleash on the world.
Yeah.
So Bulldog's using his power early on to just keep shoving Irwin down. And then a few shoulder tackles and a clothesline sends Wild Bill out to the floor.
You forgot about the greatest thing about Wild Bill. He comes out with a whip. But he's not nearly as scary as, like, Stan Hansen.
No.
He doesn't have the presence.
Close.
He's half the size of Stan Hansen.
Back in, Davey Boy with a press slam, and Irwin retreats back out to the floor. Wild Bill is then hit with an arm drag by the Bulldog once he comes back in, but he fires back with several clotheslines and back elbows, applies the chin lock to wear Davey Boy down. The two men start brawling until the Bulldog lifts him up for a stalling vertical suplex. Multiple clotheslines, only to run into a big boot in the corner.
I'd say it was around that time, I want to say, that I noticed, I don't know, the words just kind of ran through my head and I had to write them down, that watch Fight Club forever. First of all, Bill has bad pants. Bob has bitch tits, but Bill has a fupa.
Aw, leave the man alone.
Hey, I'm talking about him a whole lot nicer than I do about old EW.
Yeah, Jesse, I liked the way he said Rastafarian incorrectly when talking about
Rastafarian.
Rastafarian. But yeah, it was very funny. And Davey Boy's getting the big cheers, the woofs for any that all Bulldog wrestlers get when they deserve it.
Yeah, crowd loves him.
Irwin then jumps off the second rope with an axe handle, but Davey Boy catches him and hits the running power slam for the pin and the win. We then go to a video of a cave and a shot of Vader's smoking mask that he brings out to the ring.
Oh yeah, on like a table with like apples and grapes and shit on it. It's cool.
Again, it was 3 seconds of this video and I have no clue.
I know. There's like a hot chick in the background somewhere. Like it's like he just has this lair, this like sci-fi action movie lair that I need and want more of.
Tony then interviews the British Bulldog at ringside. And he says, I've come to the WCW for one reason. And no, it's not because they have good painkillers. It's to become the world champion. I'm here, and I'm hungry, and I'm coming after Vader.
If he keeps the belt.
If he keeps it.
Did you hear his actual words, though? He's coming for the World Championship Heavyweight Championship of the world.
Hey, he's not a mic guy. But the
World Championship Heavyweight Championship of the world.
I was like, oh well, he hasn't stopped using
words.
Steroids. I stopped using words. He stopped using steroids. I was like, he had the big stretch marks on his ever-growing pecs.
Oh yeah.
The big
Davey does not have bitch tits.
We then go to the stage where Johnny B. Bad and Missy Hyatt are there. And Johnny says that WCW is about to go on a European tour.
And I was like, perfect timing to add the British Bulldog to your roster.
Let's hope he doesn't get lost, and hopefully you have somebody who can carry him in a match.
And Missy complains that she's not getting to go.
Why wouldn't they bring Missy?
I know. Someone needs some fun bags around, right?
I mean, yeah. Should have her sign stuff for people. I don't know. I guess they don't really do that too often. But
maybe she can get into the locker room and do an interview there, as opposed to here, and not be spit on or.
They are a little bit more open-minded in France. Yeah. We then go to the back, and Eric Bischoff is there with Paul Orndorff.
Hey.
And Paul starts screaming when all of a sudden Cactus Jack starts chasing after him with a snow shovel. So we have our fourth match. Paul Orndorff versus Cactus Jack in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Paul Orndorff, the man with the most dad of faces. Also, right when this match started up, I was like, the catwalk's gone. You know, like the raised catwalk to the ring. It's been like a staple for quite a while now. Just something that I noticed like 4 matches in. That's all. Just want to bring light to it. I kind of like the catwalk. It's fun.
Like Flair's back. He wasn't used to those, so.
The last time we saw Paul Orndorff was at Great American Bash 1990. Wow. All the way back in episode 46.
And I must say, Paul Orndorff looks incredible. He is in incredible shape. It's pretty wild.
Very much.
He is chiseled.
So the ref grabs the shovel away from Jack as they get into the ring, which allows Orndorff to kick Cactus Jack in the head.
Also, have we had a start like this where it goes from interview to match? Like, hits him with the shovel and the camera follows them out to the ring. It's really cool.
The Flyin Brian, Brad Armstrong 30-second match.
That's a little different.
Yeah.
But that's good memory for sure. But this one, like, this is like some classic shit that you'll probably see every single day in like past 97. Every single, like, twice a week on both channels.
The two men start brawling on the outside, trading head slams into the guardrail. Cactus Jack then picks up the mat around ringside, hitting a body slam on the concrete.
No time to waste.
And following with a running elbow drop for a 2 count.
Splat.
Jack then continues by coming off the second rope with a sunset flip onto the concrete for another 2 count.
And who was that? Who got hurt there?
Me?
I mean, yeah, me as well.
Jack took the bump.
Yeah, like Paul Orndorff lost nothing in there.
Oh.
They finally make it back into the ring, which Paul controls the action with kicks and clotheslines before throwing Cactus Jack back out to the floor. The two men take a waltz down the aisle where Orndorff Irish whips Jack into the guardrail, which he flips over onto the concrete.
I
know. Jack's like, I feel like this might be the most brutal he's been so far, and like just throwing his body out there since we've been seeing him.
I mean, he got his warm up with Sting. tossed around the concrete everywhere.
But now he's just hurting himself. Like also, you guys, shout out to the crutch lady. In the front row, there's the lady with the crutch, and every time she gets excited, she raises her crutch. And for a second, I thought she was a plant, and maybe they would take the crutch.
Take my weapon.
Yeah, I think I'm sure she was probably saying that at some points throughout this match. But good on you, crutch lady.
Cactus Jack fires up to send Paul over the railing as well. Orndorff then hits a snap suplex across the guardrail.
Hell yes.
Starts working the knee, twisting it on the railing as well.
Yeah, he does does he do a snap in between the rails on the knee?
Yeah.
Yes, great. Always cool.
They make their way back to the ring where Paul continues working on the knee before hitting a vertical suplex over the ropes and onto the apron. Jack's knee brace then comes off, so Orndorff uses it to choke Cactus Jack.
And can I just say this? This shit is hot.
Yeah.
This is fucking great. Paul Orndorff. God.
I don't know if I've ever been excited for a Paul Orndorff match, but
he is really...
This one finally took me there.
He is really a great... He's showing up hard here.
I mean, literally the only time we've really seen him is against Hogan.
Yeah.
And in a Survivor Series against Hogan.
And in a match with El Gigante.
Yeah.
So how excited can you really
No,
be?
he's really showing out and impressing the shit out of me throughout this whole match. Just
actually living up to that wonderful name.
Mm-hmm. He's just vicious and present, and he just feels like a feels like a top tier wrestler.
Yeah,
he feels like somebody that can be a top heel or babyface with a look like that.
You've got dad face here just kicking the ass of the neighborhood bully.
Oh yeah.
Orndorff locks on a figure four using the ropes for leverage, but Jack punches his way out of the hold. Paul then takes Cactus Jack out to the floor with a clothesline, starts slamming the knee on the concrete, hitting him in the face with the knee brace multiple times. And Jack makes his way back into the ring, while Orndorff grabs a chair and starts whacking it away on Cactus Jack's knee. Paul looks to hit a pile driver on that chair, but Jack has grabbed his shovel and hits Orndorff over the head with it for the pin and the win.
I wanted Paul to win so bad. The knee brace stuff was great. There was a really weird moment. I believe it was around the ring next to the steel or whatever, because a lot of this match takes place
on the floor.
But where it's a really awkward moment where Paul Orndorff sticks his fingers in his mouth.
Yeah.
And I was like, is he about to put on the wonderful claw? It was really awkward. I was like, why are you putting your hands in that man's mouth? It was very bizarre. Because it's not like he did a weird, gross, cheek pull thing. And it would be more of a Cactus Jack thing anyway, because he's the more brutal of the two. Because obviously he is not the roid daddy.
Yeah.
That Paul is. And if you were not a roid daddy, Paul, I apologize, because
you look like you're a roid daddy.
You worked hard for that body. Either way.
Yeah.
You don't just take roids and it happens.
The Paul taking
the knee brace.
Well, not just the knee brace, but just the knee and slamming it to the concrete. That first one, just the sound of that one. I mean, it was the camera angle on it was perfect to the point that all you saw was Foley's leg driving down into the concrete, and it was, like I said, I've never been excited for a Mr. Wonderful match. So this was mind-boggling.
After it was over, I'm like, all right, well, I hope we get some fun stuff out of Paul for at least 2 matches. You never know. Everything moves around so much, and I hope you're not about to say, this was the last time. We'll see Paul. All right, I can't tell what he's gonna do. He's got a face. Just give it to me if you're going to give it to me. Okay, cool.
Bischoff,
playing games.
Bad, and Missy are on the stage. And Erik gives Hyatt some props for knowing that Flair would be showing up. But that she didn't get the interview. She's still fucked up.
Yeah.
Missy says that
nobody asked her to get the interview. She said she was going to.
That's true. Missy says that the Nature Boy will be making an appearance during the show. And then Johnny previews some of the upcoming matches. And we get our 5th match. The Heavenly Bodies of Stan Lane and Dr. Tom Prichard, with Jim Cornette and Bobby Eaton, versus the Rock and Roll Express of Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson.
And when I saw that this was about to happen, like I grew like an extra vertebrae and stood up about as straight as I possibly could with excitement. It was just like the edge of my seat in excitement.
So the last time we saw Stan Lane and Jim Cornette was at Halloween Havoc 1990, episode 49.
Wow.
While the last time we saw Robert Gibson was at Great American Bash 91, episode 57, and Ricky Morton at Wrestle War 92, episode 69. So WCW and Smoky Mountain Wrestling, which is what Jim Cornette and Stan Lane run, they had a working agreement. And since Asheville was in SMW's territory, they brought him in for a show.
Yeah, and like, I mean, as we'll see, everyone here is well versed in these 5 men because the crowd they eat it up. They fucking eat it up.
These 5 men have worked this town many times in their life.
Yeah.
I did love the kid in the sign in the audience about Midnight Express, best tag team ever.
The Heavenly Bodies had actually wrestled earlier in the day, about an hour away in Tennessee.
Oh yeah, Smoky Spot Show.
Yeah, they had a morning show and then they drove over for this. And Cornette takes the mic and reminds us why he's a good heel manager.
Mm-hmm.
And the ref, he makes Bobby Eaton go back to the back.
Rude.
Making other refs come out to help enforce it, you know. The match gets going, and Gibson with a hip toss and a head scissors, followed by a hurricanrana by Morton to take Prichard down.
Is this the first time we've actually seen Prichard?
This is the first time we've seen Dr. Tom.
Yeah. Well, glad to have you, Dr. Tom.
Yes. Thank you for not being Dr. Death.
Or Bruce.
Yeah. I mean, I'd take Brother Love over Dr. Death and Erik Watts.
Lane with the blind tag, only to be hip tossed, arm dragged, and caught in an armbar by Ricky. Stan makes several attempts at a tag until Morton swings Lane into Dr. Tom for them to collide. Stan Irish whips Ricky to the corner. Gibson jumps up on the turnbuckle to cushion the blow. I always love that spot where Ricky's being Irish whipped into the corner, and so Gibson jumps in the corner to like kind of
help out his buddy.
Ease the pain.
Yeah, it's like I can take it. I'm softer than the corner, I guess.
Morton then Irish whips Lane, with Prichard trying to cushion the blow as well. But Ricky reverses the whip, while Gibson comes in to kick Dr. Tom off the turnbuckle. Prichard's laying in the corner dazed, so Morton goes ahead and Irish whips Stan into him.
Not a wasted moment.
The Heavenly Bodies bail to the outside to regroup with Cornette. And once they're back in the ring, Dr. Tom starts going crazy on Morton in the corner, only for Ricky to come back with an atomic drop onto Lane. Rock and Roll try for a double back body drop, but they telegraph it, allowing Prichard to kick Gibson to avoid. But Ricky ends up whipping into a back body drop anyways, followed by a Gibson enziguri for a 2 count.
I love that he only got one of them. You never, like, whenever that happens, you never just get one of the guys. You normally get both of them. So, it's nice. But not 4 people, there's not very many people that can have this match together.
No.
And these guys can.
Lane and Morton start crisscrossing, running the ropes, until Ricky abandons to start chasing Cornette, who rolls into the ring, only to collide with Stan. The Bodies are trying to help Jim out of the ring when Gibson slams their heads together for the double noggin knocker, followed by Morton knocking Cornette off the apron. Ricky's running the ropes when Jim grabs a boot to trip him up, followed by Lane with a savate kick to knock Morton out of the ring. Prichard and Cornette get some blows in on the floor before rolling him back in. Stan with a clothesline, and it's time for Morton in peril, as Dr. Tom hits a body slam, followed by a knee drop. Lane with a swinging neck breaker, double snapmare by the Bodies. Prichard lifts Ricky up for a vertical suplex, while Stan leaps in with a clothesline for double the impact.
You know, because they're good like that.
Cornette jumps on the apron to distract the ref just as Morton hits the desperation sunset flip, only for Dr. Tom to come in to stomp away at him to break up the pin. Ricky tosses Prichard to the ropes, telegraphs the back body drop again, So Dr. Tom hits a sit-out power bomb for the near fall.
We're getting that rock and roll chant. All rock and roll chants.
You shouldn't telegraph those back body drops.
Hey, we learned that earlier.
Morton's firing up, but Lane cuts him off with a power slam for a 2 count. The Heavenly Bodies try for a double back body drop, only for Ricky to counter with a double DDT.
Ooh-wee. Be double DDT on the heels. What a place for a pop.
He crawls to the corner for the hot tag.
And that's how you set up a hot tag.
Is this our first actual hot tag of the night?
Yes.
Yes,
Woo.
yeah. There was no chance at the beginning.
Gibson with a back body drop to Prichard. Right hands to everyone. Dr. Tom knees Morton out of the ring, allowing the bodies to double team Robert. Ricky jumps back in the ring and hits a double clothesline on Lane, followed by a double drop kick on Prichard. The ref is then trying to get Morton out of the ring, so he completely misses Gibson, making the cover on Dr. Tom.
Oh my gosh.
So Robert slingshots Cornette into the ring, which allows Prichard to bulldog Gibson for a 2 count.
It's getting wild. We need to, you could watch this match, especially the finishing segment, and where's Bobby? Where's Bobby with his brain scan? I need the
He's still
the
over
replay.
in WWE.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a match where you could actually use that for something that's not just a joke.
Jim distracts the ref again, allowing Dr. Tom to send Robert over the ropes to the floor. Stan joins that argument while Ricky hits an atomic drop and makes the cover on Prichard.
For that visual pin.
But the ref is still distracted. Bobby Eaton, then out of nowhere, comes flying off the top rope.
So beautiful.
But Morton moves in time, so he nails Dr. Tom.
Oh my gosh.
The ref finally shoves Cornette away, while Ricky knocks Eaton out of the ring, and Gibson jumps on Prichard for the pin and the win.
And Bobby Eaton, we know he showed up, but so much stuff has happened that you're so invested that you forget about him, and then he just flies into screen, and you're just like, oh shit. If this wasn't good, you'd just be like, yeah, he's gonna show up or whatever. But you get wrapped up because there's never not something happening. It's wild. Holy fuck.
Eaten out of nowhere.
This is a perfect old school tag match. There's only one spot that I saw where I was like, oh, that I noticed. There's a spot in when everything gets wild and everybody's in the ring and there's 3 things going on, where Stan Lane is in the corner and he's like, oh shit, where do I need to be right now? But outside of that, it's fucking flawless. If you can't tell, I like this shit.
Same.
We all like this shit. We then go to another video of Sting. We see a couple of ladies, fur coat, and some fog.
Oh, the fog.
Still, no clue what's going on.
If as these are happening, I'm like, just give me 5 more seconds for each one of these clips, just so I could. I'm getting frustrated at this point with these clips because I'm just like, this looks awesome.
We just want to know what's going on.
Yeah, what is this White Castle business?
So we're off to our 6th match. Maxx Payne versus the Natural Dustin Rhodes for the WCW United States Championship. Last time we saw the United States Championship, it was when they were talking about Mr. Rick Rude having to defend it. And they announced that tournament for the number 1 contender. Well, Dustin Rhodes had made the finals versus Ricky Steamboat in that tournament.
Oh, that sounds like a real cool match.
Which they showed on a WCW Saturday night or one of those shows.
Yeah, that's usually when it was.
I'm sure it was a banger 12-minute match.
But when Rick Rude was not medically cleared, they made the match for the belt instead of just a number 1 contenders match.
Yeah, makes enough sense. They both made it to the end of the tournament.
And Dustin won. So that's the reason he's the champion.
Way to go there.
Yeah.
Good job, Dustin.
Always want to see a belt on the Natural.
Making Virgil proud. Runnels, sorry.
Wearing all the gold. Dust is.
What?
No.
What did I miss?
what?
Oh, all the gold, because he's gold dust. I get it. What was the Hellraiser gimmick that he did?
Black Rain.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Over in...
Where he does like the white face paint.
TNA. Or are you talking his short time that he came back to WCW?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
That was 7.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. I remember watching... We'll discuss it.
We're not getting into that now.
Yeah, we'll discuss it when it happens. But...
We got a few years before we have to worry about that.
Yeah, the guy that never needed a gimmick, that ended up with a gimmick that people remember, that even only watched wrestling for like a year, like in 98 or 99 or probably 97. And like everybody that remembers Goldust, but no people that didn't stick around for wrestling or go back to it don't realize that he didn't need it and he was better than everyone else.
But when you bring out an albino Undertaker that floats to the ring, you win an audience or you lose an audience. And you'll just have to keep listening until we cover that show to find out.
Dustin starts off hot, knocking Payne out to the floor. When Maxx makes it back to the apron, Rhodes is right back on him, hitting a clothesline that forces Payne out again to regroup. Back in the ring, Dustin rolls up Maxx for a 2 count, followed by an arm drag, forcing Payne back out to the floor.
Are we going to talk about what Maxx Payne is wearing?
The worst outfit ever.
Dustin's is great. He has this cool like ring jacket.
Oh yeah, Dustin looks like a true professional.
The belt looks incredible.
A natural even.
Well, let me know what Maxx Payne looks like.
Maxx Payne looks like he's wearing a black t-shirt that's like 4 sizes too small and just basic spandex shorts with a blue stripe on the side.
Hey.
There's no character build. He doesn't look rock and roll. He doesn't...
Once he took the jacket off, he just looks like a
fat guy.
Guy.
It's like, they just picked a number of a seat in the audience and, threw a funky emo wig and a shitty guitar on him.
I think that what probably happened was that he spent all of his money on his guitar. He didn't have money for the gear.
On his guitar lessons.
Rhodes starts working on Max's arm once he rolls back in, until Payne drives the Naturals back into the corner. Irish whip and charge in, only for Dustin to move and go right back to work on the arm. Maxx escapes again with an eye rake, hits a snapmare, goes for an elbow drop, only for Rhodes to move and back to the arm. Irish whip and the Natural charges into a back elbow, and Payne follows with an Irish whip of his own, only to run into a big boot. Maxx reverses an Irish whip, but doesn't let go, and swings Dustin down to the mat. Payne now begins to inflict some pain on Rhodes' arm, tries to go for the painkiller, but Dustin blocks.
Did he get that? Did he get him from Davey Boy Smith? Sorry, that's not nice. It's not nice to make fun of people's addiction.
Davey doesn't share.
But Dustin blocks it and reverses it into a head scissors. Maxx retaliates with a clothesline, a double axe handle across the back to send the Natural to the outside. Payne with a back body drop once Rhodes is back in the ring, but Dustin starts firing up, goes for a crossbody, but Maxx catches him, delivers a body slam, and goes for a splash, which the Natural avoids. Mule kick buys Rhodes some time, allowing him to hit a clothesline and a vertical suplex for a 2 count. The Natural then applies an ab stretch, but Payne pulls the ref right into himself to break the hold. And the ref calls for the bell as Maxx tosses Dustin over the ropes and to the floor. Payne continues the attack with a shoulder breaker on the floor, running the shoulder into the ring post, and then Rhodes fights back, sending Maxx face first into the post and the apron, before rolling him back in the ring and hitting a drop kick. Then all the officials start jumping in the ring and breaking them apart.
Yeah.
As we get our official announcement that Dustin Rhodes is the winner by DQ.
Maxx Payne is so blown up at the end of this match. You can just see him. He's like, looks like he's about to have a heart attack. And Dustin, we didn't talk about it a whole lot because it's not a lot to talk about. But half of this match is Dustin with him in hammerlock on the mat or whatever, because it's like he's probably just like, all right, Maxx, this is the next thing. Also, you can't do much. I think Dustin did the best with what he had, but Dustin's always going to do the best with what he has.
Basically, everything that I could find was Ron Simmons was supposed to be in this match with Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah.
And literally, he didn't get cleared basically the day of the show. Mm-hmm. And all of the other people that were
But Max Payne,
really...
did he learn the guitar lick on the fly? Or was he already going to do that?
I think he was already going to do the national anthem.
Mm.
So he was one of the few people that was already there. So they were just like, okay, we'll throw him in.
Well, I mean, it sucks for
And
a pay-per-view,
they had no plan at all on this match. And Max Payne is very limited in what he can probably do.
But Dustin really did the best with what he had. It's not good, but it could have been a lot worse.
It could have been worse.
It could have been worse. It could have been Eric Watts. No, I'm kidding. It's probably would have been not the same.
I don't know. I think I would have liked watching Dustin Rhodes kick Erik Watts ass
I mean, we all would have
a good
liked
10 minutes or so.
Yeah, but I mean, with the Ron Simmons match, Dustin would have sold his ass off for Ron Simmons. I don't know if he would have switched the title or whatever, but he would have sold his ass off and then would have made a fiery comeback and either
taking a power slam,
or he would have
a tackle, whatever it is,
or would have rolled those fists furiously and popped him one on the head. But instead, we got this.
Or maybe that was the original ending, anyways. Was Rhodes was going to win by DQ.
Also, Dustin's done a really good job of getting beat up after matches lately. It's like, I don't know, just like maybe kick my ass afterwards, so you don't look like a complete dweeb.
We get another Sting video with some ladies. And Sting says, something is very familiar about all this. And then Vader screams and glass breaks.
That's the sound the glass makes when it breaks.
I mean, at least now we know it's something about Sting and Vader.
Yeah. I mean, we knew that because we saw the mask earlier.
That's true. I guess we did. We then go to Bischoff, Bad, and Missy on the stage. And Erik tells Missy that she's batting 1,000 on the night. She said Flair would be there and said she had a surprise. And I think I know what it is. And Hyatt's, I told you so. And Johnny chimes in with, she told you so, Erik. Did y'all know what the surprise was?
The Nature Boy?
I think I know what it is. So
it's like we already saw the surprise.
We already saw Ric Flair, so like, is it a surprise?
Yeah.
I was like,
well, I was thinking something
surprise
about,
is that he comes to the ring.
Yeah, he's gonna make an appearance, but he already made an appearance, and nobody said anything.
So Gary Michael Capetta then announces Ric Flair to the ring, and the Nature Boy walks out with the security team and some lovely ladies, his entourage from earlier, making his way to ringside.
And it's real. We get Spotch.
Tony welcomes him back, and Rick says, I'm back to rock and roll. We're live, we up, the lights are bright, the city's on fire, and now we're wrestling for the title I never lost.
That old gimmick. I mean...
Wonder what the next match is.
Yeah. I mean, that's why else is he out here? He's gonna pick up the mic.
The 7th match, Barry Windham versus the Great Muta with Hiro Matsuda for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship.
And we get like a NWA World Heavyweight title graphic, which was pretty neat.
Yes.
That was cool.
And Nate just staying out here to help announce this title match.
We get old Jesse and Flair together.
Yeah, with a Tony Schiavone sandwich.
Aww.
I'll take the top piece of bread.
Which one's that?
Whichever one you want to give me. Because the meat's pretty bland.
Boiled chicken.
We see the ref going over the rules, which includes being able to come off the top rope because an NWA match.
Yeah, they did right,
but I thought they were able to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Now,
well, they said something about the U.S. heavyweight title. Like they went over the rules for that match. I don't remember what they were, but they said they were WCW rules. So there's got to be some difference. And this is NWA rules.
But you can't really hear what the ref's saying because the crowd is loud with "We want Flair" chants.
Of course they do.
Well, the crowd is on fire.
They have Flair, but he's just sitting next to the ring. Like, how frustrating is that?
Yeah, and you got old Pee Wee in there that I don't know if he can't find the microphone that's right in front of him, but every time he talked, he turned his head, and then the crowd would get louder. So yeah, I heard him say something about 10 count outside. And that's about all I remember.
Jesse mentions the 60-minute time limit and puts over the Nature Boy as the 60-minute man. And Tony chimes in with, Flair always liked them big, too. The big guys.
Yeah, the big guys. It's like, what are you doing here, Tony? I mean, it's his first. He's been doing a pretty good job with Jesse, better than I expected, considering him and Jim started to hit a stride. And I was like, oh, now we're gonna switch it up.
Yeah, see. Somebody's got to take over JR's awkward joke.
Yeah, and Tony does an okay job here for his first PPV with old Jesse.
We get a feeling out process to start until Windham takes Muta down with a test of strength before taking him over with a back body drop. Muta with a spinning heel kick takes down Barry with a side headlock, and Windham attempts to hit a back suplex, only for Muta to reverse it right back to the side headlock. Barry tries again, but again, Muta takes him right back down. Jesse then asks Nate if he's going to challenge the winner, and he says, I'm not going to commit to anything. Or, like I said earlier, I was going to tell you what was going on. I can't get back into the ring right now because of my no-compete clause.
Yeah,
I can show up,
yeah,
but I can't get in the ring.
Mm-hmm. Just saying, Muta comes out in all white. He's got the big thing over reveal. It's red paint Muta tonight. I like the details.
I know you do.
Just before we get into the meat of this match.
Windham finally escapes the side headlock, only to be hit with a drop kick and right back to that side headlock. Can you tell where this match is going?
Yeah.
Barry goes for the back suplex again, hitting it this time, only for Muta to keep hold of the headlock. So Windham then goes for a vertical suplex, but Muta blocks and reverses it, hitting the snap elbow drop and back to the headlock. Barry fights out again, avoids a drop kick before hitting a DDT to knock Muta out to the floor. Windham follows out, hitting a back suplex on the floor, drags him up to the apron to hit a vertical suplex, bringing Muta back into the ring for a 2 count.
Rick is so good on the mic. It's real nice to have him here.
Yeah, he was very good on
He's not just putting himself over, he's like actually talking about the matches, like the wrestlers, like his history with them and things that they've done before. Notices old Muta's like weight gain, positive weight gain. It's great.
Dad bod Muta.
Mm-hmm. No, not like that. It's good weight gain.
No,
he's a
heavyweight
heavyweight now.
He's a heavyweight, and
he's a little heavyweight.
He's
not a
beefy.
Barry Windham heavyweight.
No, not a 6'7".
No, monster.
Gangly cowboy.
Barry with a body slam, multiple knee drops, locks on a sleeper, taking Muta down to the mat, allowing Windham to use the ropes as leverage. Muta's arm goes down once, twice, but the ref catches Barry's leverage and calls for the break. So Windham then hits a gut-wrench suplex for a near fall. Muta is tossed to the floor with Barry coming out to slap him, hitting a double axe handle before they come back in the ring, where Muta starts getting a surge of energy. Eye rake, body slam, elbow drop, keeps Windham in control though, going to a chin lock to wear Muta down. Muta starts firing up again and goes for a sunset flip, but Barry stays up and punches down. Goes for a clothesline, only for Muta to duck and come off the ropes with a desperation crossbody for a 2 count. Barry slams Muta's head, attempts a pile driver, only for Muta to counter into a back body drop, but Windham is back up and not giving an inch, staying on the attack with a leg drop for a near fall. Muta's with a spinning heel kick to get a moment of reprieve, only for Barry to come right back, sitting Muta on the top rope, climbs up for the superplex, but Muta chops him off to the mat, coming off with a judo chop to the head.
Judo chop.
Handspring back elbow and a backbreaker both connect. Muta goes up top for the moonsault, but Windham moves out of the way. Barry then goes for a vertical suplex, but Muta floats over and delivers a back suplex of his own.
Well, that's what I like to see.
Muta's up, hits another backbreaker, goes for the moonsault once again, but Windham gets his knees up, hitting a clothesline and the implant DDT for the pin and the win. And
You knew it was going to happen.
Post-match, Ric Flair comes into the ring with the belt, hands it to the ref, who starts to strap it around the waist of Barry, but Nate moves him out of the way so he can do it. Now, once Windham realizes it isn't the ref, he pulls away and the two men stare each other down till the Nature Boy just styles and profiles his way away.
Nice. It's like we don't need a beat down here.
No.
Set the seeds. Let those seeds grow.
I would have liked to have seen old Muta hold on to it for a little bit longer, but hey, he at least had it for that little bit.
They've got a second one in Japan. He just puts it on when he's over there.
That's true. He's still the IWGP.
But yeah. It's like, this wasn't bad, but it's like Barry Windham's not a great opponent for Muta. Also, the U.S. hates these kinds of matches. Like it fires up at the end with the reversals and stuff, but all the stuff before that, they don't like holds. We're not all the biggest fans of holds.
You can do holds if you are working.
Yeah.
But it felt like we need to go 18 minutes, but we only have a 10-minute match.
Yeah.
So let's do 8 minutes in holds.
Yeah. It's could have been a little shorter.
We then go to another video of a one-eyed man before Vader asks Harley Race for the strap. And then Sting is brought the strap by a lovely lady. They snap it together at the Vader smoke mask.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I don't even quite remember this clip. It's the culmination, right?
Yeah.
So
there's an explosion when it snaps.
Yeah. So that means we're gonna get probably my favorite kind of match.
Probably. We then go to Bischoff, Bad, and Missy on the stage, and they preview the main event. And Hyatt says Sting is giving up 200 pounds, so this is scary. And Johnny says Sting has the little stingers, so I expect him to go out and kick some booty, baby.
God,
little
Johnny.
Stingers.
Johnny.
All those little stingers there. There's a difference with I feels like there's always quite a few less children at a WCW show. Which ones are the little stingers? The 22-year-olds with a mouthful of beer?
Yeah. So our 8th match, Big Van Vader with Harley Race versus Sting in a White Castle of Fear strap match.
And this is where you finally answer my question, right? Or they do? Or somebody does? Because I'm still a confused man.
So this is a non-sanctioned match. So that's why it's not a title match. Because Vader is the champion.
I think it's what you call, if you're a cynical butthole, a garbage match.
Now the rules for the match are a traditional strap match where you have to touch every corner to win. It's Michael's favorite kind of match. But I knew you would ask, what is a White Castle of Fear strap match?
Because they didn't tell me. They only showed me 5 seconds of a really cool episode of like Thunder in Paradise that I never saw.
So, yes, all those small videos, I literally had no clue what they were when they were showing them to us.
Me neither. I was so pumped. Half of my notes in this are like, I need to see this.
And so, once we got to this, I was like, I need to find out what a White Castle of Fear, why they called it this.
Yeah, see, I just was like,
did they get a advertisement thing from White Castle?
Yeah. The White Castle of Fear is the dread after you eat, a suitcase of sliders after like 8 beers.
Was White Castle a thing back then already? I don't know.
I think it was. It was probably a regional thing. I don't know. Shit's gross, though.
But all those videos
Shut your whore mouth.
Would make up a bigger mini movie, kind of like the Jake Roberts Sting mini movie that we saw.
Go on.
And it would air on WCW Saturday night on January 30th.
Why didn't they play it here?
That's a good question. Because showing just these small, 4 seconds of each one made no sense.
I didn't know what was going on, and I'm so upset.
But because we like to have fun here at WHX.
Oh my.
Sit back, relax, as we are going to reenact it for you.
All right, heads up.
Yeah.
Matt sent us the video in a group chat, but didn't say anything. It was just a clip to a Daily Motion video or whatever. I did not watch it, and I still haven't.
But you're still the perfect Sting.
I don't know if I'm the perfect Sting. Sting's the perfect Sting. I'm the perfect White Mike Castle, so that's why I'm standing in for him here. But I still haven't seen this, and I'm very excited too. So, going in blind.
So for this reenactment, Shane will be Vader.
Nice to meet you, Leon. I hope we have a fair strap match.
Michael will be Sting.
Come get behind me, little stinger.
Let's do it.
And I will portray everybody else.
Everybody else. Oh, and there's a few everybody else's.
So a car pulls up next to a helicopter with narration. Sting accepted an invitation to a party at the White Castle of Fear in the Rocky Mountains. Sting then gets out of his car and gets into the chopper where it takes off. Sorry.
The party. Let's go.
Roger, we're clear. Shots of snow-banked mountains as the helicopter flies over. In the background, Vader laughs. Vader is then shown with snow blowing all over the place.
Stinger, we have a date with Destiny.
I wonder what all this is about.
The challenge is presented for you to play a game.
Vader? Challenge me? To a game?
I know you like a good time. I know you like challenges.
Could this be some sort of trap?
And I know that you like living on the edge.
Guess I'll find out soon enough.
Sting's holding an invitation that reads, "Come to a pre-SuperBrawl party at my White Castle of Fear."
Sorry.
Signed with a stamp of Vader's smoke mask.
Sting reads, "Come to the White Castle of Fear."
Where is this Castle of Fear anyway?
And play Vader's game.
Sting, I've spotted the White Castle. The camera zooms in like we should be able to see something on the mountainside, but it's just more trees and snow.
I can't wait to watch this.
Sting sees.
Oh, thank you.
The helicopter lands and we see a cave where we walk down into it before reaching a table with fruits and the Vader smoke mask. Some lovely ladies and a small person with a patch over his eye.
Is it the same LP? Same little person? That's rules.
Are around the area laying out on the rocks when Sting walks in and does the superhero pose.
Sting, pose.
The ladies begin to murmur with each other, "He's here," and smile at the sight of Sting.
Sting smirks.
The one-eyed man yells out, "It's Sting! He's here!" And all the ladies get up and come to Sting's attention, with all of them still murmuring about to each other.
Sting smiles.
Vader is then shown working out when Harley Race comes in. "Sting is here." "Sting's here! Play the game!"
You again.
"Play the game!" One of the ladies says, "Sting, this is one game you're going to lose." And the ladies begin laughing.
There's something very familiar about all of this.
Stinger!
And glass breaks.
Shh.
"Vader's here!" We see Vader on top of the rocks in a fur cloak.
Who's the man? Who's the man?
"Vader, Vader, Vader,
Vader.
you're the man!"
Stinger.
Vader, nice place you have here. Reminds me of your personality. Cold?
Very funny, Sting.
What's up?
You're here to accept the challenge of Vader. Are you ready to play the game?
All right. So what's the game?
Look, it's over.
And Vader throws everything off of the table.
Crash.
You know what a strap match is? I'm gonna show you Vader style.
Play the game! Play the game!
Mr. Race, the strap.
Race wraps the strap around Vader's wrist, and he flings it. And a young lady then brings the other end to Sting. The smoke mask starts going up in flames as they're doing a tug of war over the fire. The crowd is all chanting,
Vader, 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 Vader.
Vader finally wins the tug of war, pulling Sting onto the table and into the flames before the screen explodes.
To be continued.
right now as the match gets underway.
Oh my gosh.
that?
This sounds like a really fun video I'm going to have to watch.
Vader slings Sting around by the strap multiple times to start before hitting a clothesline, several elbow drops, and then starts just whipping away on his back.
I have a small complaint. Why is Sting wearing orange and blue when he could be wearing the White Castle of Fear? Some nice icy white and blue makeup, icy white and blue gear. Ooh, look good. You know he's got it. We've seen it before.
Vader hits a second rope splash, starts barking at the crowd, which allows the Stinger to crotch the big man with the strap. Sting knocks Vader down to the mat with several right hands. Standing enziguri comes off the second rope with the clothesline, followed by a pair of top rope splashes and whipping away on Vader's back with the strap.
Boy, does he ever.
Sting really whips it in there. Vader gets a little back blood pretty quick.
A little bit.
Sting also comes in hot because, he got his ass whipped. We saw that clip. That clip let us know why we're here.
Race comes up to the apron, so the Stinger whips him as Vader rolls out to the floor. So Sting follows out and pulls the big man into the ring post multiple times.
Posted.
Sting touches one of the ring posts on the outside of the ring.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't either.
Body slams Vader, starts dragging him around, and touches a second post on the outside.
Yeah, that's when I noticed exactly how bad Vader's back was.
Oh, yeah.
He moved
You don't
and
notice
was
it at
like,
first.
Oh, there's a wet spot there that's red.
Yeah, those whelps from the
Yeah, once you get back in the ring, it's because he didn't do it across his back. It's good. It's gnarly. Leon can take it.
He beat his ass Japan style, I'm guessing.
Back in the ring, Sting with a Samoan drop goes for the Stinger splash, but Vader blocks it with a body block. So Sting tries again with the same result.
There's an old lady in the crowd just yelling, "Get him!" Her face. She just wants Vader dead.
Vader looks for the power bomb, but the Stinger reverses into a back body drop. Goes up top for another splash, but the big man rolls out of the way to avoid, following with a splash on the mat. Vader hits a Samoan drop, a Vader bomb, and then goes back to whipping away on Sting. Vader then with a Super Samoan drop, and he starts dragging the Stinger around to touch corners.
Now it's after that, it's time to drag the man.
But Sting kicks the big man away after the second corner. Another Vader bomb, but the Stinger moves this time, only for the big man to head up top again for a splash. But the Stinger pulls him down off the ropes to the middle of the ring. Vader is up first though, sets the Stinger up on the ropes, hitting a superplex, and starts tapping corners again. 1, 2, 3. But Sting hooks the ropes with his feet and manages to kick the big man away to break the count. Vader starts laying in with stiff shots to the Stinger, hits multiple avalanche splashes, tries for a third, only for Sting to counter with a cannonball kick. The Stinger then hits a release German suplex, a DDT, and now Sting is unloading in the corner, lifting Vader up onto his shoulders. But one of the big man's legs knocks the ref down.
Ref bump.
Stinger starts touching corners. 1, 2, 3. He has Vader up on his shoulders, and he's backing up to the fourth corner.
Yeah.
And he trips over the ref.
Pretty fun. It's crazy that he's got Vader on his shoulders while he's doing the 1, 2, 3. It's going to the corners. It's nice touch. Good on you, Stinger.
Another Vader bomb, and the big man starts dragging Sting.
How many Vader bombs is he taking? 3, 4, and the Super Samoan. My God.
1 corner, 2, 3.
Sting's just
Again, the Stinger's holding onto the ropes, fighting with everything he's got. When he kicks Vader away, but it's right into the fourth corner.
like a strap match is.
Oh, Stinger.
And Big Van Vader is the winner. Post-match, Sting just starts whipping away at Vader with the strap until he rolls out and heads back to the locker room.
Vader's face.
Oh,
he busted a ear.
Yeah, no, there's it's actually from, I believe it's from the inside of his ear. This is a fun wrestling fact. Vader, if he was having a match with somebody and they were talking about color or whatever, he would tell that people, this is crazy, but he didn't know why, but he said, just pop me one good in the ear, it'll always bleed.
Yeah.
So, like, I assume that they had that and Sting just, like, so he didn't have to blade or anything, but, like, I'm sure he was probably deaf in one ear by the time he was dead. He's like, oh, just hit me in the ear. I just start bleeding from my ear. Mike's fun fact of the episode.
We go back to Bischoff, Bad, and Missy up on the stage to wrap up the evening, and Hyatt and Johnny have to go freshen up their makeup for the party they're headed to. But then Barry Windham joins Erik on the stage, and he says, I'm on the prowl, and there's no championship that is safe. But you just won one, Barry. What? Mm-hmm. Why are you concerned about other ones?
All right,
Barry doesn't
for another company.
Barry doesn't take time to smell the flowers.
No,
You've seen him wrestle. No frills.
We then go back to Tony and Jesse, and they recap the evening before saying their goodbyes as the credits roll. And I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of SuperBrawl III?
There's some certified bangers in here.
Yes.
There's some certified duds in here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But the whole show, from beginning to end, is entertaining. It's at least the duds are never really back to back. And I watched the show all in one sitting. I was into it, even with the bad stuff. Because even the bad stuff was either people I was interested in or maybe somebody new. Like, yeah, Maxx Payne didn't pan out, but I was still interested to see Maxx Payne just because, they put him over so hard before his match with, like, the guitar crap. So it was a very easy watch. But, like I said, some true certified bangers in here.
Yes. Kind of on the same line as you.
I think we're literally all right there. There are definitely some duds.
Oh yeah, but they were necessary. You got to have your little come down moments or your bathroom breaks or whatever. But yeah, it was very much started off fire and hot for me, at least, with
I can't agree there.
The savagery that was thrown to old Mr. E-Dub. I don't even want to say his name anymore because it just taints the whole podcast.
I feel like you're making him sound cooler than he is though, by calling him E-Dub.
Yeah.
Shorty E, is that better?
No.
It got.
I don't revel in the Erik Watts getting beaten up. I'd rather it just not be on screen. So I don't have the same feeling.
I loved it just because of the crowd reaction.
The crowd reaction, yeah I kind of felt.
Because not only were we reacting to that, but then also Austin and Pillman were getting some much extra love from the audience.
When it comes down to it, I feel the most bad in this situation for Bagwell because like when the small amount of time he is in the ring there, it's awesome and he gets cheered, and some of those cheers, like we said, are protest cheers probably, but the cheers can't all be that because he's big, strong. All of his stuff is like quick and sharp and clean. Like it's a crispy performance by him, and it sucks that he got dragged down by a slug.
Yeah, I mean that's as time progresses, that's what we will come to know of old Marcus Alexander Bagwell.
He's like a Scott Steiner and a Rick Steiner's body, potentially. I see the potential in like that kind of like quick big boy shit.
So it kind of sounds like 6 thumbs up from us, but there are some duds.
Oh yes, there are definitely some duds, but the show itself it
does move quick.
Yeah, it moves.
It's very recommendable.
Yeah, there's like 3 matches on here that I would tell anybody to watch at all, and they're all 3 of them are so very different. Yeah. There's that too. It's like I could call all of them like Matt classics in different ways. It's like they're all like basically like top tier performances of this style of match.
There are 3 matches on this show
that are perfect.
That
almost.
if we want, we could say that they were on the short list.
Yeah, and one of them didn't expect for sure. one of them, obviously. The other one, it's like, oh, wow, these guys are really firing early on. And then the other one, where the hell did Paul Orndorff come from with this fucking beautiful business? At least that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. That's assume that's one of your three.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh my gosh. You look like a fool over here.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right, fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up.
Not a fool. I stand behind my opinions.
So what are some of your best moments of this show?
There's a lot.
There are a lot of best moments.
Which is crazy because, like I said, those 3 matches are so packed.
Here's the thing. I am more on Shane's side with the first match of the show. I don't think it's horrible.
No, it's not horrible. It was too long.
I agree. It probably goes a little too long, but it's not horrible. And a lot of that time is spent with them just beating them up. There's not a whole lot of rest holds or anything in that match, so it moves.
Yeah, and it also sets the stage for things to come with the those bodacious blondes.
Yeah.
Now
I literally feel like the first 5 matches on this show are, if it ended right there, this might be the best show we've ever watched.
It would potentially be a perfect show with one match, which is basically a glorified squash match.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
I love Davey Boy.
Yeah.
I can watch Davey Boy squash matches all the time.
Yeah, and it's not too long. They don't completely bury Bill Irwin, and it's Davey Boy's WCW debut. So it's exactly what it needs to be.
Oh yeah.
You can't be mad at it.
And I really like the White Castle of Fear strap match. I know you don't like strap matches.
It's not the worst one I've seen.
No.
But I really enjoyed it.
Because it got brutal enough to the point where it was, I feel like, about as well worked as a strap match can be. So I'm not going to get down on it, but it's not in my top 3.
See, it's in my top 3.
Oh, we have different 3s.
That's okay.
It was not my favorite garbage match of the show.
What other moments did you guys like?
Well, I mean, my best moment, I've already said, is going in my spank bank. So
My God.
where that
Watch just getting beat down.
Yeah, and it wasn't even just the entire beatdown. There was just this one spot where Austin turns around and chops Watts, and just the movement of Austin hitting Watts, it was just beautiful on camera. I had to rewind it a couple times. Yeah, I mean, like you had said, those first 5 matches were really special.
They're all a little bit different.
Yes.
But they're all really, really good.
Yep.
I'm going to say it right here on the best moment. Go and watch the mini movie, please.
I still haven't seen it. I just acted it out.
WCW Saturday night, January 30th. It's about halfway into the show.
I might.
Literally go and watch it just for the 6-7 minutes worth of
This
entertainment.
would now also be a good time to check our Twitter, because if possible, I'm going to upload it on there.
Okay,
we,
cool.
we could probably post the video there as well.
Yeah,
So, I did that with the last one, so...
I missed out. I'm going to watch it.
Any other moments that you really enjoyed?
There's
so many moments.
There's so
like
much.
we
that it's
literally
hard to
probably
pick
could
a
go
moment.
on for a while.
So I'll just do the other thing where I will say every single interaction between the match between Too Cold Scorpio and Chris Benoit is incredible. Every single interaction between Cactus Jack and Paul Orndorff is incredible and worth your time. And every single moment of the Rock and Roll versus Heavenly Bodies with Jim Cornette and
Heavenly Bodies and Rock and Roll Express
is probably about as fun as tag team wrestling can get without being stupid.
In 1993, they work an old school tag team match.
It doesn't feel old school.
That doesn't feel old school.
No.
Exactly.
They honestly put, you could tell me that was your favorite match and I wouldn't argue with you. You could tell me that the Too Cold match was your favorite match. I wouldn't argue with you. You could say Cactus Jack Orndorff was your favorite, but I might argue because it's not my preferred style of match, but it is about as good as that gets without it getting to a point where people are just beating each other up with trash cans. It's I feel like a Falls Count Anywhere match done the right level. It doesn't get too much, but it's still brutal as hell.
Yeah.
And Orndorff is kind of an shortlist MVP for this show because he was just so surprising. I was so surprised with the performance that he gave.
Old school attitude with new school
because
style.
it wasn't I know he can do the stuff, but just he had an energy about him, and he felt like he had a presence.
How about most disappointing?
Johnny B. Bad.
Weird.
I don't know, he didn't need to be on the show whatsoever because all he did was just look like a jackass the entire time he was up there. I love the Johnny B. Bad character.
Did we really need any of the Bischoff, Missy, and
no?
Bad?
I mean, you got to have a couple
I
of
like
them,
that
but
stuff. I like cutting to those people, whether it's good or bad. It's just you check in with them.
It was Johnny B. Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Johnny B. Bad.
It was pointless because it was just him standing up there, basically saying nothing but repeating what was said right before him.
He was
and then
not
at the very end, him
on
and
his
Missy
game.
are going to go fix their makeup.
He was not on his game as far as being the third mic for sure.
Yeah.
But biggest disappointment probably the fact that Dustin Rhodes had to put up with Maxx Payne because I just want to see Dustin get to wrestle somebody, and even Ron is not the best foil for Dustin Rhodes. I know that still had the potential to be a fourth-grade match. It could have been just a good match, but it definitely would have been better than this. But it also potentially, I haven't seen these guys work one-on-one against each other, and just what's in my head doesn't mean that's what's going to happen in the match. And I think that there is a possibility that they could have pulled out a great match because Dustin would have sold like crazy for him, and I really don't know who they would have put over in that situation because Ron was just the champion.
I wonder if they would have had Ron.
I don't think Ron would have won the belt. I think they probably still would have done a DQ, probably a double count out or something like that.
Oh yeah, but a double count out's good if they're both beat the shit out of each other.
Exactly. I'm gonna say actually, here's the reason why Orndorff and Cactus Jack is probably number 4 on my list and not my top 3. I feel like the ending of that match is kind of disappointing because they're doing all this stuff and then all of a sudden they're in the ring and his snow shovel just shows up on the ring and he grabs it and hits Orndorff over the head with it.
Yeah,
it wasn't there.
Yeah, that is a good criticism, but it did do the thing where it's like, oh, we put this here, you forgot about that. That's how the match started, and then it shows up. It was the the show snow shovel was Bobby Eaton for this match, but I was so into the match that I didn't think about it. It was just like
that's literally my only complaint.
I was like, oh, it's fine, whatever.
That's my only complaint. But from that moment to the moment that Ric Flair comes back into the ring and we have the confrontation between him and Barry, that entire 30 minutes of the show is trash to me. Because Maxx Payne should not be in a ring.
No.
And I love Great Muta. I think Barry Windham is very talented. They had absolutely no chemistry together.
No, not at all. And I will say the only thing that that was obviously too long. The only thing that kind of saved that was the wonderful insights of Ric Flair. Him talking about how hot it is in that ring and people don't understand it, and from the perspective of
that
wrestler.
Would be a best moment, definitely. Flair on commentary was really good.
It was very, very good. It's not the kind of commentary. It's commentary that we get now more often from people like Kevin Kelly or Chris Charlton or Rocky Romero, but we don't get that. Nowadays, it doesn't or at least in this point in time, I don't think we've really gotten that kind of wrestler's perspective and really talking about it. He's sitting there talking about it even more as a sport than Tony, JR, or Jesse or Gorilla or any of those guys. It's just a nice insight.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
you can't put over a Barry Windham Muta match that hard. One man can't save the show.
So, best performer of the night. I feel like we may all have different opinions on this one.
I don't even know. It's hard. I mean, I might cop out. And my cop out might just be the whole tag match.
I had a feeling you were going to say that too.
I mean, I know you love the tag match.
Yeah. It's how do you pick one of... How do you
choose from all your kids?
Yeah, how do you choose, of those 5 guys, 4, but Corny's a big deal. He's a big part of this. How do you separate him here? It's like that's such a group effort.
How about you, Shane? Do you have a choice? I mean, one of you guys mentioned Orndorff possibly.
Oh yeah, Orndorff really, like I said, he really surprised me. He had that big match energy, and he felt like a star. He came out there and looked and felt like a star, and like he had that performance where like sometimes you're waiting for people to be able to have that extra thing, and it just felt like he came out with that extra thing, that little bit, and it was there for me.
I think I am going to give it to the crowd.
Good crowd.
Yeah.
This crowd was really good.
They were great.
I will agree.
It's hard to
they're
pick.
playing along with the opening match. I mean, it ties into the
And they're even
how
like
much I loved it.
they're even cheering the face in the Benoit Scorpio match. They're cheering Scorpio more, but they're still cheering Benoit even though he's doing the heel stuff. But like but they're still cheering him because he's impressive.
Yeah.
And like at that point, it's hard you can't pick either of those two guys because they're like basically the same guy in this match.
Well, here's how you know that a crowd is usually good. Great Muta and Barry Windham were in that match, and they were booing Windham. Mm-hmm. Most times in America, the crowds end up booing the foreigner.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just how they've been.
But this is also probably like in this area we have the more intelligent. The WCW crowd at this point in time is getting smart.
Would you ever say that?
Exactly.
That's where the tape traders and stuff are showing up.
Yeah.
Best performer for me, I agree with you in that you can't separate Benoit and Too Cold.
No, you can't. It's not. It does disservice to either of them.
That match was just like. I said it on here.
Yeah.
You guys know, literally, I was 5 minutes into that match, and I was just like, I am only 5 minutes into this match, and it's a 20-minute long match, and I was absolutely loving it. And I just continued to love it even more as the match was going.
You know it's a great wrestling match when you watch it, and you're like, I would show this to anybody. Like I was like, I just want to show this to somebody that doesn't watch wrestling. Like I want them to see that and be like, oh, like this is what wrestling can be and is sometimes, and that's what we're all waiting around for as wrestling fans. A lot of the time is those matches where you're just like, where it's when it's not when Maxx Payne isn't in the ring, when people that are supposed to be there are there and they mesh correctly, and you get a match that's that exciting.
Yeah. I mean, with Benoit and Scorpio, just like you said, it's a showcase of what can happen when you put the right ones in there. Just like with the audience in the first one, it shows that if you try and treat your audience like they're stupid, that eventually they are going to tell you how it really is, and they aren't just going to boo somebody for the sake of booing somebody. They're going to let it be known that.
And the crowd just got to hope that the people in the back are hearing it.
Yeah, for me, a lot of the time, like the best matches are ones that, like I said, I can show somebody, and I don't have to tell them anything. I don't have to be like, well, this guy did this, and like blah blah blah, and they had these like series of matches, and like those are great, but like these like lightning in a bottle matches where it's like this is just a match on the card. Mm-hmm. That's it. Yep. It's just a match on the card between two equal opponents to find out who's the better opponent. And nobody stole somebody's girlfriend. There's no, like, nobody got hit by a car by the other guy's manager or whatever. Like, you're just like, hey, look at these guys wrestle.
How about most surprising? I'm just going to start off. I knew Chris Benoit was showing up at some point.
Didn't know it was now?
Didn't know it was now.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a surprise.
I was surprised at Orndorff.
Orndorff was back, and Orndorff was
awesome.
Awesome as he was.
I got to give it to Orndorff just because, I've never in all of my years, I've watched several Orndorff matches in the past,
but never thought back like, oh yeah, Paul Orndorff.
I never thought I need to sit down and watch this again, or I need to tell somebody they should watch this because holy shit.
It might be a terrible thing to say, like because I'm just haven't seen as much as plenty of other people have, but at this point, like when I think Paul Orndorff, like I'm thinking of this match. Hopefully that'll change and I'll get an even better match doing this show from Paul Orndorff. or going back and watching Paul Orndorff matches that aren't on some of the stuff that we cover. But he definitely became present in my mind and somebody that I'm like actually aware of now.
And one more surprise, and kind of a disappointing moment as well. WCW showing all the 4-second clips of the mini movie, and not just showing us the glory that is the SuperBrawl 3 mini movie.
I know. I'm about to fucking watch it because I'm bummed that I was freaking out that I was like, "What is this? This looks incredible. What is this?" And I never got to see it, but I reenacted it. So
erase Johnny B. Bad's everything from this entire show, and you have enough to just play it all in one setting there as you roll into the match. You don't need him on there. Again, I like Johnny B. Bad. I just don't.
It sounds like
him
you
on
don't
this
like
show.
Johnny.
No, I do. There's just nothing for me to like about him on this show.
He didn't add much.
Making their way to the ring.
It's trivia time.
Oh, shite.
This week the category is What Happened When?
What happened when?
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
It's one of those questions where you have to buzz in to answer.
Okay.
But if you buzz in, you get 5 points. If I go to multiple choice, you can get 3 points.
Okay. For the buzz thing, we're just gonna go into the microphone, and then Matt will decide who it first. Because I
Or
think
you
we
could
had
just
some
say,
problems.
just say your name.
No,
That's
I'm gonna
much
go
easier.
It's better.
Okay.
My name's too long.
What I'm going to give you is the main event of a show. And when I say main event, I mean the last match on the show.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
When you know the answer, buzz in. If we need to go to multiple choice, I'll give you some choices.
Okay.
The show that I need the main event for this week is AWA Super Clash 3.
Oh my god. Oh, I thought you were gonna give me the main event, and I had to figure out the name of the pay-per-view. You're giving me the pay-per-view, and I have to say the main event.
Yes.
AWA Super Clash 3, is that what you said?
Yeah, we don't know this, man.
I'm trying to remember.
It's the only AWA show we watched.
I listened to it.
I mean, I'm willing to go to multiple choice here if you're willing to go to multiple choice here, because I know that I don't have this in my head. I know that pre-DDP shows up on this show, but I know it's not the main event. That's the only thing I can really remember at the moment, and that Johnny Valiant's on the show. And those are the only things I can think of, which are probably not even the good things about the show.
I want to say I remember a match that was on there, but I don't know if it's the main event, so...
You
We'll just
can go for it.
choice.
I'll
Well,
give you.
multiple choice.
Because if I answer now, then I won't be able to answer once we get to multiple choice.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So for 3 points, I'm going to give you 4 options. Greg Gagne versus Ron Garvin. Jerry Lawler versus Kerry Von Erich. Rock and Roll Express versus the Stud Stable. Or Sergeant Slaughter versus Colonel De Beers. Michael.
Ron Garvin.
Incorrect.
All right.
Then I'll just say because Lawler and Von Erich was what I was originally thinking, but I don't remember.
It's probably the right answer.
No, it's probably going to be old Slaughter and De Beers.
No, it's not Slaughter. It's either
But
the
no, I'm
tag
going
match
with
or
my
that
original
one.
Lawler and
That's the
Von
right
Erich.
answer. I know it is.
That is incorrect.
Oh,
what I
it's the tag
figured.
match.
Rock and Roll and Stud Stable
You gotta
had a
finish.
match after the Lawler Von Erich match.
Yeah, that's
It was one of the.
It should have been the tag match.
It was one of the
because I
dumb
should've guessed
ones
tag
that
match.
we totally were like, why did they have this match after Lawler?
Because
Von
Rock
Erich?
and Roll was over.
And that is why.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I as soon as you said Rock and Roll.
And who was in the Stud
okay.
Stable? I'm trying to remember.
Colonel Robert Parker, or at least what he was called back when he was a wrestler. I don't remember what his name was.
Whatever happened to Firebreaker Chip? Sorry.
He broke.
I know that's not like really relevant to what we're
It
talking
has
about.
nothing to do with AWA.
No, not at all. But you said Colonel whatever Parker, and I was like, what were those guys' names? Firebreaker Chip and some asshole other guy.
Something champion.
Todd
Todd
Champion.
Champion.
Firebreaker Chip is like the worst name that I love.
So no points for anyone this week.
It's all right.
So Michael is
was closer.
still in the lead, 8-7.
Oh my god, it's not a lead at all.
Yeah.
Next week, WrestleMania 9.
Get out your togas and make sure to wear underwear.
We's heading to Caesar's Palace.
Where there's 16,000 people there.
It's the world's largest toga
Yeah,
party.
yeah, sure, 16,000 people.
Music from this week's show is Rocket by Tom Blades. And Vader won the main event, so we play his theme music, Afro Rock by Heavy Business.
I didn't realize that was the name of his song.
Yeah.
Afro Rock.
I don't know what, I can't even hear the song in my head.
If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there and rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts at. As Michael says...
5 stars or no stars.
Exactly.
Be a friend. You can choose to be a foe, but just don't tune in. No hate. No hate.
All love.
Yeah. We're not selling cheeseburgers. This isn't Yelp.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
And if you want to give us any questions, comments, concerns, recipes, we're always still looking for those as well.
Right.
You can email us at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com. That's wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com because it's Groundhog Day. Or you can find us on Twitter at wrestlinghistox. This is where I meant to double myself.
Yeah, I got you.
Wrestling HISTOX.
Wrestling HISTO.
X. We'll talk to you next week.
Laters!